This week, my plan was to only work on the scoring and reward system. It turned out to be very straightforward. So, I ended up also working on the main menu and the level select screen. It finally feels like the game is coming together. The score system is pretty simple. You get 3 stars if you complete the level in the minimum amount of moves. You get 2 stars if you complete the level in 1.25 times the minimum moves. So if the minimum number of moves for a level is 8, you will get 2 stars till the time your number of moves is less than 8 multiplied by 1.25. That's 10. The same logic applies for 1 star with a multiplier of 1.5. You'll get no stars if you complete the level before you use up all the moves. After getting this down, I moved on to working on the main menu. I added the title and 2 buttons. The play button takes the player to the level select screen, and the options button doesn't do anything right now. In the level select screen, all the levels are divided into sets, and each set has 20 levels, and there are multiple sets. This is how I've implemented the level select screen. I've broken up the level select screen into 2 prefabs, the level set panel prefab and the level button prefab. Breaking the level select screen this way makes the system modular and allows me to add as many level sets as I want. So now, if I want to add a new set of levels, all I have to do is make the levels, put it in the right folder, and let this script know the number of level sets has increased. Leveraging the tool I made for designing levels, and the machine learning agent I trained for playtesting, adding content to the game now becomes easy. Now it was time to set up the buttons for loading the levels. I wrote a script for it. The script populates all the buttons and assigns the right level to the button. For positioning the buttons right, it took me a few minutes to figure out the math. So for laying out a row of buttons, I get the width of the panel and subtract it by the space the buttons will take. This gives me the empty space I'll have for laying out the buttons. I divide this empty space into equal parts and space out the buttons accordingly. I spawn the buttons using the divided empty space I calculated before. I also have to offset the spawn positions, so the buttons don't spawn exactly at the start of the panel. I do the same thing for spawning the columns using the height of the panel. So what's the point of writing and figuring out all the code when I could have manually laid out all the buttons? If I were to change the size of the button or the panel, I would have to lay out all the buttons all over again. I would have to figure out the new layout, the spacing, and everything once again. But with the script, I can change the size of the button or the panel, and the logic will do everything automatically. And I know I will have to iterate on this design later. It is important to make these aspects of your game modular. It might take a couple of extra minutes to set it up today, but it will save so much time in the future. There's no way to predict all the development needs of a project. But if there's something obvious that you can improve or make modular, you should definitely invest the time to do it. After I got everything set up in the main menu, I had to make some changes in the game manager to account for the new flow of things. Once I got done with those changes, it was getting pretty late and I called it a night. Next week I'll be working on polishing and adding some juiciness to the game.